Hey, folks, welcome to the Jake and John Show, world's greatest podcast of all time. I'm John, and I'm here with the lovely Jake, as always.
What's up, brother John?
What's going on? And today, we're kind of winging it, but we do want to cover all of the supremely obese and unattractive women marching wherever the fuck that is. Is it in D.C.?
I think it's all over the place.
Oh, okay, because I saw an article, and it's like however many women... 1.5 million women mobilized to wherever the fuck.
I think it's kind of like a lot of the protests where it's got kind of small gatherings in other places, but the big the big gathering is in DC.
Yeah, see, every time I see a picture of this, it's obviously only been a few days, right, since it's been going on or that it happened. I don't even know if it's still happening, but there's just a direct link between them being supremely unattractive, overweight, with ridiculous hairstyles and stupid signs, and it's just like, you're not mad about what you're pretending to be mad at. You're mad at the world because you're lazy and fat and unattractive by your own doing. It's not that genetics fought against you, it's that you're a lazy, annoying person. That is exactly what I see when I'm looking at them. I mean, do you see anything else? Do you see like virtue warriors out there?
I don't virtue warriors. No, I don't think so. I think that everybody wants something to fight for, and everybody wants to have a cause. And I think this is just an extension of that. This is the same thing as just about every other kind of large scale protest that goes on. You know, because at the end of the day, I don't know what you accomplish by that. I understand. Well, my limited understanding of what they're actually mad at is that Donald Trump was elected.
Yeah. That
he is, from their perspective, a misogynist. That he has kind of taken a soft pro-abortion stance. Because if I recall right, he's never come out really and said, hey, I'm anti-abortion. He's done it more in the terms of, well, I'm going to appoint Supreme Court justices who they'll just kind of deal with it. You know, that's right. Kind of, I think that's kind of the way he's worded it. So, as you know, a lot of women, a lot of people in general take that to be, you know, the pro-choice crowd take that to be a huge slight, right? Especially coming off of Barack Obama. So, I don't know really where I was going with that, but the big protest. This is my general feeling about that protest, as well as most protests, is that they are 100% ineffective. It's a waste of time to do it that way, only because in 6 months, if I had to put money on it, this will be completely forgotten and will have had no meaningful impact whatsoever.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think, man, you know, for so long, I was really in the middle, not like a liberal or a Republican or Democrat or whatever, just whatever makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like lately I've been pulled a little more to the right, and it's because, I mean, I believe in freedom of speech and all this shit, of course, you know, every decent person does. But it's coming to a point now where shit's so ridiculous that it's like, any PC-ness that I have left in me is completely gone. I'm so sick of seeing these freak shows out there, man, disrupting traffic and fucking just being obnoxious.
Well, the left has created a atmosphere, and I know we've talked about this almost ad nauseum in different episodes, but they've created this environment of crying wolf is essentially what it is, and overblowing small situations, and not only overblowing them, but taking them in a direction that's just, you know, no longer factual. And the mainstream media allows them to get away with this to some extent because they publish it like that. But people are catching on, right? Like, I mean, when in the history of, or at least in modern history, has a president told a news organization that they're fake news? You know, a major, like CNN. When have these things happened? And I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the perfect messenger by any means, but he's absolutely the one who has reaped the rewards of this just silliness and this inability to be honest and this blowing things out of proportion, this childish way of dealing with problems and ideas. This is what you get, you know. I mean, you got to reap what you sow, you know. I mean, you've earned this, and what's interesting to me is that they don't get it yet. They just still do not understand how we got here, and it is absolutely. They did more to elect Donald Trump than any Republican did.
I think that's absolutely true.
Absolutely true. 100%.
People are fed up.
Yeah, people are tired of the nonsense. So people are rooting for the trolls, the ones that are just picking on them, making them look stupid. The Donald Trumps of the world, the Milos, the Mike Cernoviches, all these people out here that are just, you know, they're definitely out there to stir up shit. Right. But they unearth endless hypocrisy and endless crying wolf and just being over the top ridiculous. And, you know, like Milo can't go to a college campus because they got these big, you know, the war ideas it has to, if it's going to happen, it has to be fought in two directions. You can't silence the opposition constantly. That's not the way a conversation happens. And until they realize that, I think that their influence, no matter how loud they are, will continue to diminish until the point of America getting into complete like WWE territory with maybe even a crazier, you know, presidential figure next time, and where maybe the scale starts to tilt back a little bit. I don't know. I just think, you know, until both sides kind of realize what's happening, we're going to be in for a wild ride.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know, man. I'm to a point now. I try to be so like even and joyful and optimistic and think objectively and all this, but it's to a point now where I'm just tired of it, man. It's just annoying as fuck. It's everywhere I look, and it's spreading. It's like a cancer. It's just spreading everywhere.
Do you? Does it? Let me ask you this: are you paying enough attention to it that it's starting to bother you daily, like make you aggravated? Because I used to pay a lot more attention to politics and stuff than I do now. I have an awareness of what's going on, but I don't spend tons of time reading the news and stuff anymore because I could tell it was having an impact on me. You know, it's like, this is starting to piss me off because it's so ridiculous, and just kind of had to take a step back and just realize a lot of this just isn't real. You know, a lot of it's just drummed up propaganda. It's not as real as it seems, right? I mean, I don't know anyone who's like that hardcore in either direction. I don't think.
Well, some of my friends that I've known for many years, they tend to swing on the left side of things, and they're extremist about it. And it's to a point now where if they want to discuss it with me, I just want to tell them to shut the fuck up. Like, I know you. I know who you are. We've had many private conversations about all kinds of things in life, and you're completely full of shit. You're representing something because you want to be seen and heard in a certain way, but that's not really you, and you don't really think that. And it's just disgusting, man. I just can't take it anymore.
I think I know a few people like that, but then there's a few more who are, regardless of what happens, are always trying to take the position of some type of a like contrarian. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. It's always, I've got a better idea. Everybody's sheep and they're stupid. And I get, you know, that's more of the same. That's a way of communicating that is not going to be productive, because all you're doing is isolating other people, and then they're going to be like, well, fuck you and your opinion. You know, that whole way of having a debate, I think it's got to die.
Yeah.
It's got to.
Yeah, it's weak. But let's move on from politics, man, because I don't even know if that's considered politics or if it's just cunts in the street being obnoxious. But the Chael Sonnen and Tito Ortiz fight.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people are going around saying it's fixed, and I have to agree to some degree, because there's a video now, and it shows Tito clearly tapping out. I think he's tapping on the Chael's glove. I have to watch it again. But no question he's tapping out. But it doesn't necessarily look like he's tapping out to give up the fight, as he's telling Chael to switch positions. so I can get the win. Now it's time, or something weird is going on there. It's possible that it's not a fixed fight, but when you consider the two people involved and how fishy it looks, I'm calling it fixed, man. I'm going on the fixed side of things.
You honestly believe it's fixed? Is that
I do.
Kind of what you feel?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's illegal. I think it is because it affects the betting odds. If you fix something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then because Chael could throw $1 million on him to lose first round by whatever that choke was, I forgot. But I don't know, man. It was just super disappointing, and poor Chael too, because he just got kicked off The Apprentice for cheating, and he cut a wire on one of the computers. They were working on a project, and they had 2 minutes left. And the only way to extend your time or to get around it is if you have a technical difficulty. So Chael cuts the wire, and Arnold kicks him off the show. But
that was probably recorded before the fight, huh?
Oh, no, of course it was.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the timing of that. Did they kick him off because he lost the fight? But then it's like, no, that was probably recorded beforehand. So
yeah, but I don't know, man.
What do you think about have you heard I'm sure you have, all the talk of Tito holding the choke too long? Yeah,
I saw that, and I don't know, man. I don't know if Chael was actually suffering, but Big John McCarthy came in and, put his, I think I read a tweet from Big John or something, and he put his finger or his thumb on his larynx to make him let go. And Tito got mad about it and said he almost kicked McCarthy's ass or something. I don't know, but I mean, I don't think in any way Big John's involved in it,
Yeah.
I don't think he would have any knowledge of it in any way, but I don't know, man. Something's fishy, and it really disappoints me because everybody knows that Chael's full of shit about a lot of things, but I've never questioned his willingness and want to win, every fight. I mean, there's a lot of people who say he has a kind of a mental hang up where if he gets to a certain place or he's this close to a championship that he kind of folds. Like it's almost like he wants to be second place. He doesn't want to be third or fourth, and he doesn't want to be first, but second place, that's just for him because it's not too much pressure, but he's still one of the best, It's some kind of weird mental thing. I don't know, man, but I hate to see that happen to Chael, man, for him to go down that road, but we'll see.
I don't know. That whole this unfortunately did not help with my overall perception of Bellator.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I'm inside, I'm rooting for them to succeed, and even if that maybe it was 100% on the up and ups, but it's just like you just get that vibe off of a lot of the stuff that goes on over there. I mean, if it was fixed, like let's say it was, I mean the people in Bellator I think would have absolutely had to have been involved with it. So I don't know, man. It's just those fights. Something about it diminishes the quality of that organization for me.
Right. Yeah. Some of the fights are great. Like the fight before that was Paul Daly and I forgot the other guy's name. But Paul Daly hit him with that flying knee, a huge gash on his eye, knocked him out cold. It was an awesome fight. It was exciting the entire fight up until that moment. It wasn't a long fight, but it was a great fight. And there was other fights on there that were pretty good.
Well, they get good fights on their card, and then they ruin it with their main events.
Exactly.
Which is the strangest thing, right?
Yeah.
It's because it almost seems, and I could be 100% wrong, that they feel like they have to pull kind of well-known talent, even if it's aged talent, to kind of sell the fights. And maybe they do, I mean, because a lot of people are coming in to see the Chaels and Titos and stuff like that.
Right.
But at the same time, these fights are so fucking hokey that they kind of diminish the whole thing for the younger guys and the guys that are putting on really great fights. It kind of overshadows that, I think, a little bit, which is unfortunate for those guys.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it. I log in, Kimbo Slice is fighting?
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, sure.
It's Kimbo Slice. But I think I want to see the older guys. I want to see one of them make a comeback and just be Bernard Hopkins in a sense, just be 40 years old but be rejuvenated, have a whole new training program and mentality on fighting and just dominate your opponent and look good. And yeah, I'm coming back. I'm going to fight again. I got 3 more fights on my contract. That's what I want to see, but I'm not seeing it. Like the Horace Gracie and Ken Shamrock fight, terrible. Ken Shamrock, Kimbo fight, fucking horrific. The fucking Kimbo and Dada 5000, dude.
That was just a
worst fight I've ever seen.
Well, not only that, but think about what all came after that. I mean, just the whole hospitalization and Kimbo's dead now, and you know what I mean? It's just those guys shouldn't have been fighting to begin with.
No.
You know what I mean? And I guess what it is a lot of people are living on nostalgia, the Kimbo Slice of YouTube. You know what I mean?
Right.
And those are really, like, even for me, that's some of the best stuff on YouTube ever, was the old Kimbo stuff. But
people forget too that was 10 and 11 years ago, literally.
Yeah, I know.
Whenever he kind of came onto the scene.
Yeah,
and he was for sure.
It might even
on
be
steroids.
longer than that. So
and he was on steroids for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was it was a long time ago. That's what I mean. So they kind of pull these guys back out of the woodwork, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to see it anymore, man.
Yeah, I have I want to have high expectations, but then it's always just like, damn.
I don't ever want to see Ken Shamrock in combat sports again. I don't want to see him get knocked out again. It just, like, I don't know what it is, dude. If it's just these herky and hokey and jerky and all that, but whenever he gets hit or when he goes for takedowns, it just looks like he's trying so hard, but he fails on purpose. I don't know what his deal is, or if he just. I don't know, man. I don't want to say he sucks because he's a pro, man. He used to be one of the best in the world. He's a pioneer. But it just seems like he's full of shit. I don't know, man. Like, he's throwing it on purpose. He's there for the paycheck. He doesn't want to get hurt. I don't get it, man.
Well, I mean, realistically, there's a reason why there's not a lot of 40 and 50-year-old football players and baseball players. And it's just, you do get past your prime. It's just the way it is. And, it's just not what it once was. And I think that's okay. You got to kind of let go of that gracefully.
Yeah, and then plus a lot of the training, too, if you think about it. Because back in the day, it was more of the Rocky Balboa mentality. Is goes balls out and beat the shit out of each other in the gym and lift 1,000 weights 1,000 times, each day. And it fucking tears your body up, dude. Even if you're on roids. And if you're doing that for 20 years, you can't keep it up any more than that. And I don't think it even matters how much juice you're pumping into. Your tendons and ligaments and all that, they can only take so much. You can only take so many shots to the head. And then it's just kind of over, man. That's it.
Fighting's a hard lifestyle. If you think about what all you have to go through, you're exactly right in terms of training, not to mention the punishment you take during the fights. I mean, it's constantly hard on your body and your head. And, when you get up 40, 50 years old, and you've been taking that punishment a good 20, 25 years or something. Yeah, some of that might start to show a little bit.
I feel thankful now because for so long I really wanted to be an MMA fighter, and I did training and all that shit and had a little fight. But now that I'm seeing more of the head trauma issues that happen with fighters, especially later on in their careers, it's like, fuck that, man. Because even if you made $20, $30, $40 million in your career, if you're just a head case when you're like 50, 55, I don't think it's worth it, man. Yeah,
you're giving up a lot of good years of your life potentially, Yeah. And every time you get in the octagon or something, and you run that risk of head trauma. You know what I'm really kind of shocked by? I was thinking about this earlier in the UFC is that we have not seen more horrific injuries yet.
Yeah, I mean, it is surprising.
I mean, there's Anderson Silva leg. I mean, there's a few things that have happened, and then there was there was the whole cyborg fucking head.
Oh, the knee.
Like that is that kind of stuff I'm surprised we haven't seen more of yet. And because I think happening too often would have a very strong negative impact. Well, it may have a good impact too. I don't know. Maybe people want to watch that.
Yeah.
But considering like how much or how hardcore the fighting has gotten, I'm surprised we don't see a lot more of those just horrific injuries.
Yeah.
But maybe what we're going to see, though, is as these guys start to age, you start... what's the syndrome called when you had too many concussions and the...
what is that called?
You know what I'm talking about. Basically, when you're just hitting the head too many times and, you start to...
Like being punch drunk, basically.
Yeah. And, you start to lose your motor skills and stuff and memory and all that as you get into you're not even that old, right? Just more kind of middle-aged.
Yeah, that happened. Remember Gary Goodrich from the old school UFC? Put the guys in the crucifix and hit him with the elbows and shit. Yeah, he's not doing good, man.
Yeah, I watched. Probably a year ago or so, I watched I don't know. It was kind of like a little thing with interviews. It wasn't really like a documentary, but they kind of followed around, talked to him a little bit, and he was kind of explaining what had happened and how things were going. It was sad, man.
Yeah, big time.
I hated to see him in that situation,
Yeah, that's awful, man, because he's had some really good and crazy fights, and he did really well in professional arm wrestling, and he's just been a really good character and a big participant in mixed martial arts and martial arts in general, man. And now I mean, I don't even know if he's 50 yet. He might be. He's probably around that age. But
in that ballpark, right? I mean,
yeah. But I mean, I don't see his condition getting any better, man.
Yeah.
It's probably worse than an early death if I had to guess. And it's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah, that's just really, really unfortunate. I hate watching stuff like that, man. Because you're like, damn, you know, that dude lost like a large portion of his life being able to live it in a good way, you know.
Yeah.
Which just sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if this even counts for anything. It does to me, as he's going to go down as one of the pioneers and legends in my book because of some of his performances. Some of the stuff he's done has been some crazy shit, man.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the pioneers. I mean, as far as the UFC is concerned, I mean, he is one of the people that helped build the sport.
Yeah,
helped bring it to where it is today.
Have you been watching that show Westworld on HBO? Have you seen it?
I have not. I hear nothing but good things, but I have not had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, no spoilers. I've seen I think the first 4 or 5 episodes, and it's good, man. It's like almost Game of Thrones good. Maybe it is for if you like sci-fi shit. It's definitely that good.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Game of Thrones is a 10 out of 10 for me, then this is easily a 9 out of 10. I mean, I'm really getting into it. But Eve Edwards is a stunt double for one of the black dudes on the show. I can't fucking think of his name. I think he's one of the main characters, but you haven't seen it. So.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I'm always bad about that. I think if you watch 5 episodes and you really like a show, you should probably be able to remember at least like 3 or 4 people's names, but I got nothing, man.
Shit, I watched like 3 seasons of Game of Thrones before I started remembering people's names and stuff. You know, it's like I know what's going on, but I don't remember names. I think with Game of Thrones, I'm gonna probably after it's all said and done, I'm gonna go back through and watch it now, knowing more character names and family names and how the families are associated. I think I would enjoy like the first 2 or 3 seasons probably a lot more because I got the whole gist of the show, but I was having a lot of trouble following who's who and what are they doing, and it you could follow the show as far as the storyline, but it was a lot of the backstory and the things they would tell that you just didn't, or at least for me, I just didn't really grasp all of what was happening. I feel like the story is a lot more rich than even what I know,
Yeah, I think I've seen all the episodes twice now, except for season 6. I've only seen all those one time each. But I have a question, man, and you might know this. Sam that's always hanging out with Jon Snow?
Yeah.
So is his last name Tully, Sam Tully, or is it Tarly? Do you know?
I want to say it's Tully, but yeah.
But that's the thing, is because that's Catelyn Stark, that's the mom's name, right? The one that is no longer with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, her maiden name is Tully. And so I was wondering if they're related somehow, but as you watch season 6, I haven't seen any connection between the two, but I thought that was kind of interesting. But I don't know, man.
Dude, yeah. I have to watch it. Like, even that question, like, when I start thinking about it at that level, that's the pieces I'm missing, right? Because are some of those connections that, even when they come out later in the story, I'm like, damn, they've been talking about this. I just didn't put it all together,
I had to look up a family tree because I was confused on how certain things work, and I had to break it down. But then once you see it like that, it's not, I don't know, it's not difficult to understand. But there's so many good characters with rich backstories that it's just, I don't know, it's confusing.
Yeah.
But it's going to be sad when that show's done because they're going, I think, to season 8, right? And then, that they're going to have, I think, 8 episodes instead of 10 for both season 7 and season 8. Damn, I got the hiccups, man, that Subway. I think I read that. Have you read that?
No.
Yeah, I think that's the case, and I'm sad if that is the case because once that's gone, because we had Lord of the Rings sort of in that realm back in the early 2000s, and then we had to wait about 10 years for Game of Thrones to come out, and I think it's going to be a while. We're going to be in our 40s before something badass medievalish comes out,
Yeah, I don't know. So we got another probably 2 years on that. And yeah, it would have to be something I can't even conceive at the moment. I can't even think of what book they would do or story they would tell. Of course, there's plenty of them out there, that are great, and tons of them we've never even heard of. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'll probably try to start picking up on Westworld because I have heard a lot of really great things about it, and just haven't had an opportunity to sit down and dig in yet.
Yeah, I like it because, and again, no spoilers. I don't like to do that, but. It's like an MMORPG that you play with your own body in real life. Like, that's the only way I can think of it. is you go into this world and you can go on quests or adventures with these people, and you can kind of do whatever you want. And it's, I don't know, I don't want to talk about it any more than that, and fuck it up for, well, it's not going to fuck it up for anybody, but it's such a strange idea. I don't think I've seen that before in a movie or any type of series, but it's a good idea, and it works, and it's good, man. It's fun. And just like any other HBO series, it's gritty and raw and adult, I like that shit, man.
Yeah, I'll watch that one. I just got Stars the other day. It dawned on me you could get it through Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You can kind of get like an add-on subscription. So, like, first on my to-do list right now is to go and finish watching Ash versus the Evil Dead. I feel like guilty as a human being that I have not watched all of that yet because I'm such like a huge fan. So I'm going to definitely get through that first, and then I think Westworld's going to be my next kind of conquest, because all the shows I've been watching lately are just kind of like, what's the right word, like throwaway shows, like shows that don't require a commitment, right? Like I've been watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, kind of catching up on it on Netflix, and it's a great show, but it doesn't require that commitment to the story like some of these other ones do. So I'm ready to get into a show that actually has some kind of meat on the bone a little bit.
Yeah, I've seen, I think, the first 2 episodes of the Evil Dead show, and I liked it. I didn't keep up with it for some reason, but it's like a fun idea. They're at least on season 2 now, right?
Yeah, I think it's 2. 2's either ongoing or just completed, or it's somewhere in there. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe, are they going to have a season 3? Have they said anything?
To be honest, I haven't kept up with it enough to know. Yeah. It's weird, like how my TV watching has gone, since now I have young children. I don't. Yeah. Like I kind of jump into shows and watch something. Game of Thrones is the only one that I've watched consistently at all in the past several years. I mean, I've gone through some shows, but none of them like that. So now it's just kind of whenever I can actually stay awake long enough to watch some shows, because we try not to let them watch too crazy of stuff. I was watching Walking Dead all the way up through, I don't even remember what season I stopped on, but it just got to the point where I can't watch any of that around the kids, so I have to stay up late to watch it, and I just kind of fell off. So there's all these shows that I want to watch and catch back up on, and it'll happen one day. It's on my bucket list.
I haven't really watched The Walking Dead. I think I've seen the first 2 or 3 episodes. That's it. And
really?
That was whenever it first came out, and everybody says it's great, so
That's
I have
fantastic,
to believe them. Yeah, but I'm kind of glad now because I love to binge watch shit. And so, is there even a plan for there to be a stoppage in that show as of right now?
I don't know. It's actually one of the few shows that has a spinoff that's going too.
Oh, right, yeah.
I can't think of what it's called. It's something else.
I saw a commercial
The Walking Dead. But, yeah, so it got so popular it actually has 2 kind of parallel shows running at the same time. So, yeah, I don't know. I still see stuff about it all over Facebook, though I haven't followed it as much lately. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I want to watch it, but I have to wait, man. I got to finish Westworld, and there's some other shit. I tried watching The Wire. Have you seen that?
No, I think you may have told me a little bit about it, but
it seems like it's probably a good show, I guess, but I couldn't get into it. I don't know, man. It's like I didn't know what the fuck was going on, what the hell they were talking about right from the beginning.
I think you talked about that last time, actually. Just weren't getting into the story.
Did we talk about that on the podcast?
A little bit.
Right, yeah. Okay, I don't want to rehash old shit. But, I don't think I'll ever watch that. But I don't know, man. I haven't been fucking doing anything else. This last week for me has been a lazy week. Just completely unproductive other than watching Westworld and having a few glasses of wine at night. That's been it, man.
Man, I don't know.
Nothing exciting.
Actually, you may be able to tell by the way my eyes look right now, but I had a very long night and a very short sleep. Our nephew is staying with us, and he got homesick a little bit. And between him and then my kids, I guess just because of the oddness of their sleeping arrangements, it's out of their normal. Some of the stuff is going on. They wanted to, go from bed to bed, and always were kind of following me around slowly. And then anybody who's got kids understands when you have kids sleeping in your bed, they want to get all up on you. So you get a kid on both sides of you, and it's like sitting like next to a space heater. I'm just like sweating, but you don't want to move because you don't want to wake them up. You know what I mean? So you just sit there and and I didn't get much sleep, man. But
Yeah, you look tired. I can see the bags under your eyes, man.
Yeah, I'm running fully on fumes right about now.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. I had a rough man day at work today, man. I was outside all day doing man shit, lifting heavy shit, getting dirty and rusty shit all over me, and it felt good, man. Because I hadn't gotten good. Because sometimes at my job, it's like that a lot, and then sometimes it's more like tedious task. You know, you put on your lab coat and you do this and you do this here. You're not really sweating or lifting anything heavy, man. But sometimes it gets ruthless, and I like those kind of days every once in a while, because once I get done, dude, and I get home and I'm just filthy and tired as fuck, I just want to take a shower and lay in bed, and it's like that high from endorphins, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just so beat, and you're just like, oh, it's like you just took a couple of Vicodin or some shit.
Yeah.
I like that, man. And I get to do it all again tomorrow. So I'm happy about that shit. But sometimes, if you do that too many days in a row, though, you're like, fuck, dude, I need to fucking get an office job. Fuck this.
Yeah, it'll wear you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about some of that manual labor. Like that, one day or two, I'm like, man, I feel pretty good about this. And I remember who I am.
Well, it was cold outside this morning, and I was having to wash this thing, and I had to use the water hose and scrub it off, and like I was getting the water on me, and it was like 50 degrees out there. I was like, motherfucker, but I made it through, and then it warmed up, man. Like 3 or 4 hours later, it got up to I think 77 degrees today. Texas weather is fucking crazy, man. It makes no fucking sense. It was fucking cold as shit this morning, and then a few hours later, it's like go to the beach weather.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
This year, I probably say this every year, but this year, it has been extraordinarily strange. It's been extreme highs and lows. It's been shorts weather here pretty much all winter. We've had a couple of kind of cold days. We had like 2 days that I guess there was like a freezing night, but then it gets back up into the 50s during the day. But otherwise, I've worn shorts several days, and to me, I mean, ever since the fall season started, I haven't really felt like it's winter at all this year. It's just been kind of a strange extension of summer.
You know what you look like right now?
What's that?
Is like a stereotypical, like super angry Japanese dude, and I think it's what I'm talking about. Does like I don't whatever like word they're screaming, like a samurai or something. It's the bags under your eyes. They're intense, man. Yeah, you didn't get much sleep at all.
The bags under my eyes, and this is going to sound really stupid. I had LASIK surgery a couple months ago.
Yeah,
right?
It was like 3 months ago.
Yeah. So up until that point, I'd always worn glasses. Right? Like I've worn glasses forever. I never realized that I just have bags under my eyes. I mean, they get extremely exaggerated when I'm tired, but at almost all times, I have like eyes that look like fucking ping pong balls because of the like swelling around here, and I never knew that. 30-something years, never had no idea. And I don't, I told my wife, and she was like, yeah, it's always like that. And I'm like, I didn't fucking know, man. Because I took out my glasses, I couldn't see. I
can tell, though. Like, whenever you get a good night's sleep, I don't see them like that at all. Because I get them, too, pretty bad. I might have them right now. But when I get tired like that, it looks the same, dude. It's just like there's fucking like an egg in there.
I think, I'm going to crash hard tonight. Yeah. Well, hopefully. With my luck, though, the way things go, I'm going to get home and like some bullshit's going to happen. I'll have to do it all over again.
You don't drink coffee at all, right?
Actually, I did start drinking coffee just a few months ago.
Oh, really?
It was just, I've never liked coffee. So I've actually hated coffee forever. And it as best I can remember, it stems back to when I was probably in my early teens, probably, I don't know, maybe 12, 13, and we'd gone to Fredericksburg. And we're walking around the shops and everything, and went to a candy store. And Mom gave me a piece of candy. I thought it was a chocolate-covered raisin, and it was a chocolate-covered coffee bean.
Ooh.
And it was fucking awful. Like, because I've really never, at least up until recently, I never developed a taste for coffee. It was actually kind of, it was gross to me. I didn't, just something I did not like. And I ate that thing, and I can recall being like, oh fuck, and like I ended up running up the like strip there looking for somewhere to get something to drink just to get it out because it was so awful.
Yeah.
And I didn't touch coffee for years and years and years after that, and probably starting in the past 5 years, because all the guys I work with drink all kinds of coffee. They've had that you know that coffee that's made out of the cats eat it and then shit it out or whatever.
Oh yeah, I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember. But so they've had that. But these guys are like connoisseurs. They order all kinds of crazy expensive coffees and all this kind of stuff. And so I thought, fuck, man, I owe it to myself to give it a try. So about once a year for the past 5, I've tried a cup of coffee because they'll bring something in and they're like, man, you should really try this one. This is the one. And some of that stuff, it's so like they're so far advanced in the coffee scale from because they don't understand. Like I'm like at 5-year-old level, and they're drinking like it's kind of like if you drink a lot of beer, you know, you have to grow a taste for like a hardcore stout or something like that, you know. And that's kind of where they're at with their coffee. This stuff is like if I went and grabbed like just a handful of dirt outside and started eating it. That's how some of that was. I was like, this shit is fucking disgusting. Like it just literally tastes like shit. But they love it, man. They've like developed this hard, like the regular Folgers coffee. It's not good enough anymore. They're like, oh, that's shit water. I can't drink that. I got to drink this stuff that tastes like it was scraped off the side of a ship, you know. but now, yes. Long story short, I have gotten to where I'm drinking black coffee now, but I drink some of the kind of, I guess, flavored ones, like the cinnamon ones or something. But the guys always look at me like I'm some kind of bitch or something when I get my coffee, because I'm drinking my Keurig coffee or whatever, and they're like, you know, what a fucking pussy or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I've started drinking it a little bit just to kind of get some of the caffeine. I still don't love it, like I don't crave it, but every once in a while I feel like it will do the job.
Right, yeah. It helps me a lot, dude. If I just didn't sleep well the night before at work, man, I'll drink like 2 or 3 cups of it right away. Like I try to drink it quick. I'll put some cold water in there so I get that rush to wake the fuck up, you know.
Well, one thing I've found, and I don't know if I haven't eaten enough or it's empty stomach, is it has strong laxative properties at some point. So like I have to kind of know what's going on in my day before I'll even fuck with it. Like if I may have like a meeting in a little while or something, it's unpredictable. So I just, you know, I'm like, I better drink something else, you know, because it can't be trusted.
No, I know exactly what you mean. That's one of the great uses of it, though, especially for me, is, man, to just clean out my system, man. Because I know if I drink like 3-4 cups within an hour, it's going down, man. I'm getting cleaned out, feeling good, feeling light.
You know what's weird is that sometimes I'll drink it and it doesn't bother me at all, and then other times I can tell, like, you know, half a cup in, I'm like, it's taking action, and it can be the same exact coffee, you know, the same brand and flavor and everything. So I haven't exactly worked out what the differences are. I don't drink it frequently enough to really have tapped into that yet. But
yeah, for me, it's like if I drink it fast and I can feel my stomach getting warm, because if you sip it, you don't really get that so much. But if you drink it really fast, not so it's so hot you're fucking burning the shit out of your whole body, but you just take it down and then your stomach gets like that, that feeling. It's like everything's like loosening up and it's hydrating. I'm not going to get too into that, but... And then boom, dude, you got to go, man. And it's the best feeling, especially if it's one of those perfect logs where you're completely emptied out. And it makes my day, it makes my whole day better. Like I'm motivated and inspired and I feel confident, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I know I'm not going to have any problems with that.
Like that is taken care of for today.
Yeah. That's a good day. It makes me want to like start a diet that day too, because it's all the bloat and shit's gone. I feel good, man. Now I'm motivated, you know?
Yeah. So do you drink like Rockstar or Red Bull and stuff like that?
I don't now. Very rarely I'll have like one, but I read somewhere, and there's many cases of this actually, where people were drinking, I think if you drink either 3 or 4 of the large monsters a day, which you can see how people can work up to that I think it's one of the amino acids in there, and eventually it leads to liver failure. And that's been happening to people, because I got up to a point where I was drinking 3 of the large blue calorie-free monsters a day whenever I was an aircraft mechanic, because I would be so fucking tired. Like I'd go train, and then I'd go to work, and then sometimes after that I would do cardio. I was trying to do all this shit, and the only fucking way I could do it is with those like calorie-free monsters, because I was trying to keep my calories low too and watch my weight and lose body fat and shit. And but it can give you liver failure, because once you have too much of that amino acid, something happens and it builds up, like some kind of cirrhosis. I don't know. I forgot all the details behind it, but ever since I read that, I was like, fuck that, dude, because I did that shit for like a year straight. So, wow. Yeah, I'm not fucking with that shit, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've never been able to drink. I had I don't know if it was a Red Bull. It was one of the energy drinks, though, and one night I'd been out and I got one and I drank it in the car on the way home. I mean, not super, like I had pounded, but probably in a 20-minute period, I drank the whole can or whatever. And dude, I was about to have like crazy panic attacks and stuff from that. Like it made me like super jittery and nervous feeling, it's just whatever the difference is in that. I don't know if it's the caffeine level or something else that's in there. Something about that though, I mean, it really was just, it made me feel uncomfortable. Like I did not enjoy being alive after I drank that thing,
Yeah, so. But you've never really been into stimulants. Like I don't think you need them. Like some people feel like they need them. Like I'm one of those people, but I don't know. Some people just aren't into it. But I've never seen you really, with any kind of stimulant, caffeine, whatever.
Yeah, really the coffee and stuff. It's just never been my thing. I've just never really gotten into it.
Yeah,
I could see the appeal, but part of the reason I haven't gotten into it, I think, is because when I drink a lot of it, I can tell it makes me kind of jittery. So it's not a feeling I enjoy. So I kind of back away from that.
Yeah, that's probably for the best, man. Because I've read that drinking too much coffee, it taxes your adrenal glands, and which they'll fix themselves naturally once you get off of it. But then once you start to drink so much coffee every day. I'm not talking about a cup in the morning and maybe a cup at lunch. I'm talking about people who drink like a pot or 2 pots or 3 pots a day, which is a many people do that. And it starts to do that, and you start to feel sluggish all the time, and you have to drink a ridiculous amount of caffeine just to feel normal to function.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that if they don't drink coffee in the morning, that they start getting headaches and all this kind of stuff. And I'm happy that I have not yet experienced that. Haven't gotten to a point where I'm dependent on that yet.
Yeah,
because it seems like it does catch a lot of people. And you're right, man, because I know a lot of people that drink a pot of coffee, or they'll drink just like a couple of those gigantic Starbucks French cup. What the hell is it called?
The Venti
or Venti, or whatever the big one is, and they'll drink a couple of those, and those things got to be just loaded with that shit.
Oh, I'm sure. I've gone to the Starbucks over here now a few times because I never went before, but. Really, and then now we have one so close, and this was in between our coffee makers. We have a Keurig now, but I was like, fuck, I need some coffee. So I went over there, and they got the drive-through. I don't have to deal with a bunch of hipsters and shit. And I was like, yeah, I just need a large black coffee. And he was like, okay, 1 large venti. And I was like, venti. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, what's that fucking movie with, the guy from American Pie and Paul Rudd, and they go to like that medieval
fucking role models.
Yeah, because I remember he was bitching about that in the beginning to his girlfriend. He's like, it's not a fucking venti, it's a large. But like, it just hit me when that guy said that, and I started laughing. I was like, that's fucking great. They really do call it a venti.
Yeah, I've heard that forever. I literally did not know that was a size until fairly recently. Like I would say in the last year or two is when I realized, oh, that's a size.
Yeah, I should have looked on the menu. I'm guessing that all the sizes have cute little names, right?
I think one's a tall, one's a venti. But I don't know.
Oh, is it venti?
Venti. Oh God, yeah.
Or venti? Venti.
Yeah.
Can I get a latte grande venti?
I don't know. I can't say that. Like to me, like saying that is almost like going and ordering like the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of feeling for me.
Yeah, it's like walking up and saying, "Excuse me, do you have 1 large dildo? I want to put it in my mouth."
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been to coffee or the culture, so to me it's just like completely foreign.
Yeah, it seems silly though. Like we should just be able to like 1 venti, a venti with some latte on it. Is latte, is that what is that, shaken milk or it's bubbly? I think that's what that means.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can say, can I have latte on it? I don't think that's. I think the latte itself is a drink, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah. It is funny how there's certain things on menus I don't really feel comfortable saying, and I think I say them.
It's just like a pretentious way of ordering.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it. It's like, just call it a fucking large. Like, just it doesn't need to be all churched up. Can we just call this what it is? But at the same time, hey, who am I?
Have you ever been out to eat with someone who's not of any type of Mexican or Spanish descent, and you go to a Mexican restaurant with them, and they're looking at the menu, and when they order, they throw in the that extra
start rolling
shit.
R's, yeah.
I couldn't do that if I tried. I'm like, you need to calm the fuck down. Don't ever do that again in front of me. It's so annoying.
I like a quesadillas.
Yeah,
like
quesadillas. Yeah, I can't do that shit.
Some ranchero beans.
Yeah,
it's
like, calm the fuck down, man.
Take it easy.
And it's funny too, because two of my buddies, they're like, genetically legitimate Mexicans, but they don't speak Spanish at all. And I went to many of Mexican restaurants with both of them. But when they order, they make sure to fucking turn it up because they know how to do it, I guess, enough to like say a food item. But that's basically the end of it. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, with that, it's so easy to tell, even for me, like total gringo, like I don't know much Spanish at all, but I can pick out a fake accent over a legitimate one just immediately. Yeah. Like I know if you're full of shit immediately. You can, I don't know what it is, but I know.
Dude, I'm not going to say this dude's name, but I think you might remember him. I'll tell you after if you don't remember. But you and I used to both work at the same community college, and you worked in like the computer department, and I worked at the gym at the front desk there. And I used to work with this guy, a little squirrely guy with brown hair, and I believe some of his other family worked at the college too. And he took karate there, and he was just kind of a Herman, so to speak, But anyway, I mean, it'll come back to you. But I didn't dislike the guy at all. He was just weird, like awkward. And anyway, he would work at the front desk with me sometimes. We were both part-time. We did like 15 hours a week or whatever. And do you remember that my boss that came in and he was like legit from England and he was a pro soccer player? I do remember
that dude.
And he was just like a cool, fun dude. Like he's been around the block, and he wasn't, I don't know, he was fun. But anyway, the first day that he was there, he came and introduced himself to us, and that dude sitting next to me, he started talking in an English accent. And I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? Because I was like, oh, hey, how you doing, sir? My name's so-and-so or whatever, because I was his employee, basically. And this dude that I'm with, this dude does not have an English accent. We went to the same schools. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he was born here. He talks basically just like I do. And he wasn't trying to troll him. It was like, I didn't interrupt because it was awkward enough. I wasn't going to call him out in front of the guy because then that guy would be like, what in the fuck is going on here? And so after that guy walked off, our new boss that's from England and all that, I was like, why did you do that? That was weird, man. And he was like, well, I do that when everybody comes up who has a different accent. It's a way to really understand the different dialects. And he started giving me this thing of bullshit, this diatribe.
Well, so check this out. It's interesting you mentioned that because I was just listening to an audiobook the other day, and it was talking about basically different ways of relating to people, and one of the concepts in it was called mirroring. And I think that like changing your accent might be a very extreme case of that, but I think it might be the same thing because it's basically the concept of when you start talking to someone. If you're trying to like establish rapport or trying to kind of build a relationship, if you kind of mirror them, it's supposed to help. If you if you mirror, if you mirror just kind of the way that they're acting, their kind of posture, and maybe kind of some of the mannerisms, that it actually builds some kind of a bond.
Oh, really?
And it's interesting because I've seen people do what you're talking about, where they essentially fake an accent with someone. Like I've seen people, we live in Texas in the South. I've seen people do it with like Southern accents. I know you've seen this.
Of course.
Yeah. People that really have no detectable accent most of the time, if they are in certain scenarios, like a rodeo or something like that, they adopt this Southern drawl all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre.
And gross.
Yeah. and I have to wonder sometimes, are they like consciously making the decision to do that, or is there some kind of like a natural like instinct to mirror the other person, to better communicate or to fit in or something?
That makes sense.
Because if you think about it, like what you're explaining, that guy like adopting an English accent, that's pretty extreme because you're gonna get busted. Like you're going to be, especially in that scenario where the guy's your boss. He's going to see you talking without an English accent and probably in short order. So to me, that's just like a really interesting phenomenon that people do that because I've seen it several times where they adopt this weird accent.
I got to say this about that kid again before. He was like at the same age as me, I think, maybe a year older or something. But he was a legitimate karate black belt, and he did do point fighting tournaments. So he wasn't just like McDojo training. He was actually, sparring and doing that kind of shit. And I love martial arts, so I would ask him questions because he's been doing it since he was like 5 years old or some shit, and now he was like 20.
I'm gonna have to ask you who this is because I literally cannot picture this at the moment. This is someone I know.
Well, you for sure have seen him, and I know that after that day, I told you all about it. You were like, "What a weird fuck," but anyway, so that they used to do the karate class there in the gym. And do you remember the karate instructor? He was the former Marine, and I think he taught other classes at the school too. He was a cool guy, and he would come and sit down and talk to me sometimes. But and I'd pick his brain about karate and mixed martial arts and shit. But dude, I'm getting way off topic. Anyway, so this guy that I worked with, the same weird accent guy, he had done but this was like a gym battle. It wasn't where they go and meet up at a tournament and they have a point fighting, karate thing. And so I guess a few months prior, him and this Spanish guy had thrown down in the gym, but it was the same shit. You put on pads and you have some type of referee, but it's just not official, so it seems more hardcore,
Yeah.
And I guess it was considered a draw or something, and the other guy had been talking shit about him and saying that he beat his ass or something like that. And I guess wind got back to him as me and him were sitting at the desk there. And as soon as he heard that from one of the other karate dorks that was over there, he got up in front of our front desk where people were walking by going, this is a very busy area. Like every 2 or 3 minutes, you have a person leaving the gym or coming in, and sometimes huge groups.
Right.
And so he's standing in front of our fucking desk, and he's like doing spinning back kicks and like jump kicks and like punching and doing all this stuff. And then one of our bosses walked by, the lady with the blonde hair, you remember her? Mm-hmm. She came up, and she was like a real boss, you know what I mean? Like she makes like, good money. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he explained the whole scenario to her, that this guy had challenged him and all this. And like I could just see the look on her face, like, "You are such a fucking dork." Like that was like the look she was giving him. And she was like, "Well, if you could maybe take that into the locker room, or if you want to go into the basketball court, and that would be great." And he was like, "I can't. I have the momentum." He was like one of those weird people, And like she was politely telling him, like, "I'm your boss. Get the fuck out of here with that weird shit."
Right.
And he didn't get it. He just kept doing it. And she just went in her office, and I was just sitting there like,
oh man, cringe muscle. Yeah, it's just hurting like even hearing this story. Yeah.
But there were so many situations with that dude like that, because I worked there for like a year, probably maybe more than that.
Yeah.
And dude, there were so many times where he did stuff like that, and I don't know. I'm glad that I no longer have to communicate with him. I want to tell you his name. I'll tell you when it's time. Man.
All right, yeah.
But
I need to know this stat.
Yeah, I don't want to. I would have tried my best to never blast people unless it's like a celebrity or something that's doing something crazy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, technically he was a kid. That was like 15 years ago, or maybe even a little more than that. So it's whatever, man. But how much time do we got left?
Oh, I don't know. We're about 53 minutes now.
Oh, 53 minutes. Oh, cool, man. Well, we had to start a little late today because we're trying to work everything out. We got these cameras now, which are awesome. They look like that movie Terminator. I think that's what it is. No, Predator, where they have the thing on their shoulder and it goes zzz, zzz, zzz. That's what they look like. They look really cool.
Yeah, they're nice.
Tell them about the Patreon thing that we're trying to work on here.
Okay, so we got a few things irons on fire here. So what we're trying to do is we're gonna bring up a Patreon page, and our plans are, I guess, our initial plan is we're going to start offering the podcast in video format as well. So this will be video that we record during the show and then release afterwards. Now, one of our Patreon goals, and I guess let me start with what Patreon is for people that aren't familiar with it. It's basically a way to crowdfund content creators and to make micro payments, I guess, to people that whose content you enjoy. It's a way for, at least for us, to be able to put more time into the show. So,
and to help the podcast pay for itself.
Right,
basically.
Exactly. So yeah, because we've got some investment into the show and we're really enjoying doing it. So I guess we're now what we're doing is we're asking if if you enjoy the show, hey, take a peek at the Patreon page and see if there's anything that interests you. We're gonna offer some rewards. I don't want to come out with too many of them right now because we're still kind of working through that. But basically, the first level supporter is it's $1 a month, and if you join at that level, you'll have access to the show's video. Just the pre-recorded video for sure. That's something we've worked out. We've got some other ideas going, but one of the goals we have is to be able to live stream the show, live stream video, and not only that, but have some sort of a chat room going on the same time so we can interact with listeners, answer questions, do things like that. So at the end of the day, anybody who decides to support us in any way, we greatly appreciate it, and we will definitely be we'll be releasing more news about this as it all comes together. We've got a lot of I think are pretty good ideas. John's got a few fantastic ideas for rewards for people that do decide to donate at different levels. So we'll come out with more news about that in probably the next 2 or 3 episodes, I would imagine. We're still working through some of the technical details of how we would do the live streaming. And there's some cost associated with that, so we're still trying to figure out how to make all that work technically and all that. But at any rate, I think it's going to be a cool thing. I'm pretty excited about being able to do the show video and being able to because some of the other things we're interested in doing is doing like Skype guests and all that, and I think we'll be able to go ahead and bring them in on the video as well. There's some cool stuff we can do, I think, and we're looking forward to it. Is there anything else I'm not thinking of on that, John, that you want?
I want to remind everyone and make it clear that the audio of the podcast will always be free.
Right. It'll be always. As it is today. Nothing about it is going to change. Everything that we're going to offer via the Patreon subscribers is going to be additional content. Right. Yeah. The shows that exist today will remain on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, everything exactly as it is today. So this will all be additional content. And John and I are really enjoying doing the show, and we want to do some more with it. Like, this is something we've just really have started to love doing and look forward to every week.
Yeah, just a small amount of additional income. I mean, it's no matter what. We never get one Patreon person. I don't even know I still have so much to learn about it. It doesn't matter. We're still going to do the podcast. We're still going to have fun. But there is a few things that we could upgrade and do a little bit better if we had a little bit of additional income coming in.
Yeah, so. And some of the things people wonder what we might do with income is. So I spend quite a bit of time trying to keep all our technology going, and what I'd like to do is kind of farm a little bit of that out if at all possible, like maybe some of the audio editing, or I'm still kind of thinking through this, or maybe video editing, so that we can spend more time on the content and not as much time working on the logistics. So anyway, like I said, we'll be coming out with more details about this in the next coming few episodes, and we'll probably post some things on Facebook and on the website. I went through the website and have made some upgrades to it, so all these things are improving. Like I said, it all takes time, and we've actually got a pretty sophisticated setup for how quickly we put it all up. So yeah, it all takes time, and we're just looking really to take the show to the next level. So. Yeah,
and I think we're on our way, at least from our own standards.
Yeah.
I like where it's headed.
So yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's listening. And
yes, definitely.
And if you enjoy the show, one thing you can do easily to help support us is just subscribe on whatever platform you're on. If it's iTunes or Google Play, Stitcher, whatever, and that helps us kind of know who's listening and from where and all that, and what people are interested in. So
for sure, and we've gotten some good feedback.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything overly negative, and if any type of criticisms, I was like, well, you might be right about that, but sure. Anyway, before I'm gonna read this because I haven't read it in a long time, and it's our call-in number, so that you can leave us a voicemail, and it's 804-557-4691, or to simplify it, 804-JJ-SHOW-1. And I'm really hoping that we get a caller soon. I thought that we were going to get one, because this dude that I know, I don't know him, but I know who he is from a message board, for years. There's one of those message boards I go to. And he's aware of the show, and he's a real smart ass. And I was like, he's going to call in and talk shit. I know it. I mean, I've never spoken to him, you know what I mean? And but he never did. But I was hoping that somebody would come through. But
well, I think as we get all this going, so yeah, because when we started the podcast, we knew we wanted to do it. We thought it'd be fun, but now I think we've kind of crossed the threshold and realized that, yeah, we actually do enjoy doing this. So we're going to, and I feel like we're producing pretty good now. Our audio quality is decent. So we're going to spend a lot more time just trying to grow the show and do more things. Because for me, this is one of my favorite things to do, during the week. One of the things I look forward to is being able to come out and just sit down and put on the headphones and be an idiot for a little while.
Yeah, for sure. It's relaxing. And prior to this, dude, me and you, we didn't hang out that much. I mean, we did when we could, but now it's like we have an appointment each week.
Yeah.
And we get to hang out and talk and catch up and just shoot the shit. And, oh, dude, that Subway sandwich was the shit. Bacon ranch. That guy messed it all up, but it was still good. But, yeah, I like doing this, man. And we've made it. See, it's been since July, the end of July that we started. And I remember when we started, we're like, man, if we let's make our short-term goal like 10 episodes or something like that. And now this is episode 22, right?
Yeah.
And it's likely that there's going to be another one coming this weekend when our brother Justin comes down, right?
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, if we have time. I don't know if we're going to, but we're going to give it a shot. But yeah, man, I think we got to close it down here pretty soon. We both got some obligations to get to.
I guess I'll go ahead and go through the websites. You go ahead and visit us at jakeandjohnshow.com. That's where you can check out the blog. You can see any additional pictures or anything we add, basic show content. You can check it. You can follow us on Twitter at Jake and John Show. You can hit us up on Facebook. Just search at Jake and John Show. It'll bring up the show page. And then our Patreon page is patreon.com/JJ Show. Like I said, we're still building it up, but one of the things that's going to be there immediately is the $1 subscriber level, and you will get instant access to the recorded videos of this show. This is actually the first one we're recording, so I'm going to have to go through and do a little bit of editing and all that kind of fun stuff, but it'll be up pretty soon, assuming everything goes right. But that's what we plan to do going forward, is go ahead and have this the video recorded on there, as well as any other things we decide to release to just patrons, people who have donated, because we're going to start trying to do additional content, pretty quick. And like I said, we're looking at a few different ideas. But anyways, I'm spinning my wheels on that. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. But once again, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yep. See you next time.
Take it easy.